Noah Lyles has quickly become one of the most hated athletes. And it all started with this bit of virality almost a year ago.
You know, the thing that hurts me the most is that I have to watch the NBA Finals and they have world champion on their head. World champion of what? The United States? That ain't the world. That is not the world. We are the world. We are the children. There ain't no flags in the NBA.
I'm like, what do you say fuck me for?
NBA stars league-wide were flummoxed. Together with fans, they formed an angry mob ready to burn Noah Lyles at the stake come the Olympics if he doesn't win gold. Unfortunately, that's not how things end. Noah was apparently diagnosed. Saying that word gets videos demonetized, so I'll just say he was diagnosed with and was unable to compete in the follow-up competition of this being the men's 200 meter.
The USOPC does not restrict athletes from competing because of a positive COVID test, leaving it up to the athlete to train and compete as long as they feel up to it.
Fans began sniffing in the air. Something doesn't feel right. The air is off. The door is ajar, especially given how he came out for this race. The squints grew more and more narrow. Noah was even on record after this saying, "We were trying to keep this close to the chest. The people who knew were the medical staff, my coach, my mom. We didn't want everybody going into a panic." But this news was only stated to the public after losing to Tobago in the 200 meter.
Wait a second. Something's not right here. You're a phony! This guy's a great big phony!
And the wheelchair didn't help much either.
I'm kidding. I'm fixing my seat. What? I did not do that. You're fixing your seat. I did not do that.
Noah is a lifelong asthmatic, and after this, he showed his negative test to everyone. But at this point, the damage was done. People were out here saying he has a strain of bronze. They were also saying, well, it's negative because you never had it in the first place. You just said it to get out of that race because you knew you wouldn't be able to beat Tobago.
I can't be the face of athletics because I'm not an arrogant or a loud person like Noah. So I believe Noah is the face of athletics.
When people saw this, they were like, oh, cook him, Tobago. Well, he wasn't exactly trying to be mean. There's certain things that don't cross over well in language barriers. English isn't his first language. He was trying to say he doesn't have the braggadocious behavior or the swagger of a Noah Lyles to where he would consider himself to be the face of athletics. He's more just low-key and modest. But this as well gets lost in translation and people see what they see at face value and run with it. Did you see what I did there? Come on. There was also some controversy in Noah saying something about Anthony Edwards not deserving a shoe deal. He said, "You want to invite me to an event for a man who has not even been to the NBA Finals in a sport that you don't even care about, and you're giving him a shoe?" He later tried to clear this up with a tweet saying the problem he had was finding time based on prior engagements. But that's not what you said at all in your previous statement. He also threw in congratulations on becoming an Olympic champion when people have been expecting him to acknowledge his world champion of what comments and christen the United States world champions, which I guess he should have done so there to at least make people feel better or get off of them. But they're even more angry because they see that as a dig. They see that as being petty. Speaking of petty, USA Basketball's Twitter said, "Are we the world champs now?" Which is deserved. This is definitely a touche moment because that story went mega viral. There were a bunch of people talking about it. It gave NBA YouTubers the world over plenty of content things to mull over and discuss. Kind of like what's being done right now.
Noah Lyles. He said that Super Bowl champs should not consider themselves world champions. What do you think of that?
Noah Lyles can't say nothing after what just happened to him. You know what I'm saying? Then he want to come out and pretend like he's sick. I feel like that's like horseradish. So for him to like do that and say that we're not world champions of like our sport says like, come on, bro, like just speak on what you know about. You know what I'm saying? And that's track.
Would you like to race him when he gets home?
I would beat Noah Lyles.
You think so?
I would beat Noah Lyles.
Like by a lot?
No, I wouldn't beat him by a lot, but I would beat Noah Lyles.
I'd like to see that happen.
And guess what? When I beat him, I'm going to put on a COVID mask.
Oh my God.
and let him know I mean business.
Where was this energy for Speed? But whatever. Carmelo Anthony says it best.
The reason why we call ourselves world champs over here is because, to what I said earlier, this is our game.
This is it. Yeah.
The world comes to us to get the game.
Right.
So yes, we are the world champs.
World Series.
To everybody.
Everything.
Semantics, I understand.
Right.
But my thing is, why you keep shooting at the NBA?
Why that league in particular?
That was my only
Don't
issue
keep
with what he
shooting
said,
at the
bro.
NBA. Like,
Yeah.
if you want to shoot at the fact that y'all ain't got no league for y'all own. You get what I'm saying? Like, shoot at that. Shoot at why they ain't pouring money into
US
that
track
sport.
league.
You want this shit you want to be the world champion and you want to be the Olympic gold medalist, fine. We support you 1,000%.
Come on.
But don't be comparing none of that other shit to what we have going on over here because it's incomparable. You can't compare it. You can't compare it. I'd rather you just be like, yo, we need more attention on U.S. track and field.
Now, I've seen Noah say repeatedly he's gone to bat for the sport. He's trying to bring more eyes, more endorsements, a lot of different things like that by being a showman, because he himself is somewhat of a showman anyway. So if that's the objective here, congratulations, you succeeded, but at what cost? And I take this as him trying to bring more attention to United States track and field, because Usain Bolt has done more for track and field worldwide than almost every person to exist that has ever played any sport ever. And he did it simply by being the fastest. I mean, the man's last name is Bolt. You gotta do something speed related with a name like that. He came out the womb with a baton. Most of us who are watching this probably didn't know who Noah Lyles was prior to his NBA comments. And those comments were the equivalent to Randy Orton doing an RKO from nowhere. Just literally random. Not saying he didn't have a point, he was right. It's just his take came from Timbuktu. It birthed itself into existence. At the time, it made me think an NBA player smashed his girl or something. Now it's the NFL. Did an NFL player slide into your girl's DMs? I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and say that he faked having... It does look fishy. It's convenient. It's just suspicious. I can understand why people feel the way that they feel towards him right now. But he's just not doing himself any favors. People didn't arrive to know who Noah Lyles was because of his speed or his skills and his sport. 70% of everybody came to know who he was because of those comments and wanted to see him fail. My own grandmother doesn't like him just based upon what she saw in these Olympics. Prior to winning, he was talking as if he already had a gold medal or multiple. He kind of talked as good as Usain Bolt was, but when you're not that good, people are going to look at you like you're crazy. They're going to say, well, okay, calm down, guy. You're not like that. He's forever legitimized himself after his gold medal win. It's just how he's carried himself in the aftermath. It hasn't really been endearing for a lot of people. I hear more negativity about this man than positive or any praises thrown his way. And it's hard for people to appreciate what he's done in track and field because their first impressions of this man were stoked in the fires of negativity. If Michael Phelps said Noah Lyles' statement, it would have went even more viral, of course, because it's Michael Phelps we're talking about. But I think he would have received very little in the way of public backlash or scrutiny, especially from NBA stars, because what can you even say to this man who's at the absolute apex and pinnacle of his respective sport? When swimming is brought up around the world, the first thing that pops into people's mind before a fish is probably Michael Phelps. I thought it was funny how Josh Hart said, I want this man to fail, but he gave him his flowers when he won. Can y'all imagine a scenario in which Noah Lyles didn't win gold after saying everything he said? Ooh, my, he could not have social media for the rest of his life. That Noah Lyles version has probably moved to Cuba with Jimmy Hoffa, Tupac, and Amelia Earhart. In closing, a lot of the disgust and dismay thrown at Noah Lyles' doorstep has been primarily by his own hand. We've seen a similar situation to this, but at a much smaller scale, with Dylan Brooks saying the comments that he said about LeBron, and when it came time to back it up, He was nowhere to be seen. Luckily for Noah Lyles, he didn't meet the same fate. He stood on business. He got his gold medal. I think in this picture, he's more relieved that he won't be roasted for the rest of his natural born life with people saying, "World champion of what? World champion of what?" My God. Imagine having to hear that for 4 years straight. And that's if you even make it to the next Olympics, because anything can happen in 4 years. But these fears are permanently laid to rest. He got his gold medal, and Team USA got their gold medals in basketball. So we live in a timeline where everybody wins.